What up, Otto? What's poppin', brother? Shit, just bear with me. I'm finishing listening to the segment on Ariel's podcast today where they talked about it. It only got like a minute left, and then I'm gonna start talking more. But I'm just trying to get a consensus of what other people are thinking. Okay, I think I'm done with that. All right. I mean, what you guys think? What you guys think? Whoever's in the chat right now, what we think? I mean, last night. Let me just finish off my chicken and rice too. Sorry, I'm going live earlier, but I didn't have enough time to cover all the bases before I went live. So just fucking, we just chilling for the first few minutes here. Guess we'll let everyone roll in. But spoiler alert, Michael Morales' undefeated record has been restored. He's undefeated again, back to 19 and 0. Tapology reversed their decision this morning. Last night, for those who don't know, they added an extra win and an extra loss to his record because of some bouts that took place on Ultima Pelea, aka Ecuadorian Tough. And yeah, Tapology, I guess, made this rule a while ago saying, look, all reality TV shows outside of the real UFC Ultimate Fighter, we're going to count it as pro. I think that's the mistake. I think that is the mistake in itself right there. I think that's where they went wrong in the first place, personally. I don't want to get too into it while I'm fucking taking breaks to eat, so let me just finish off this rice real quick. All right. Let me put away this dish and then we'll get started. But everybody, like the stream if you haven't liked it yet. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the story about Michael Morales and his undefeated record being restored. I guess we'll just go over today's news and maybe we'll look back on yesterday's news as well. You feel me? Just to kind of like complete the whole story in one go. But Tapology has restored Michael Morales' undefeated record back to 19 and 0 after they initially tried to change it to 20 and 1 after discovering two fights on Ecuadorian The Ultimate Fighter spinoff Ultima Pelea in 2017 where he went 1 and 1. The bouts will now be considered exhibitions. I have some points written down as well, just some talking points once I get through some of this stuff, but let's get through Tapology's statement that they issued this morning after, last night announcing that they were going to change his record and ultimately going back on their word this morning. So Tapology writes, update on the Ultima Pelea League in Ecuador and its impact on Michael Morales' MMA record. We will reverse and classify these as exhibition. We look forward to many colorful replies on social media about how stupid we are. Thank you in advance, but above all, we want to be fair and get this correct. More info. Um, and last night, right, I was on Tapology's side all the way till the end of the stream. Then I finally switched sides and I said, you know what? I think Michael Morales should still be undefeated. And I kind of said I'd rather admit that I'm wrong in order to fall on the right side of things than to die on the hill of what I started with. You feel me? Because the hill I started on was that Michael should be 20-1. Then I changed my mind. I said, you know what? These aren't even sanctioned fights and shit like that. I don't really think it should be counted on his record. So Tapology took the same stance as me in a sense. They started off one way, but like they said, but above all, we want to be fair and get this correct, So shout out to them because they could have easily died on the hill, but they're trying to be fair. They're correcting it by admitting they're wrong. It's respectable. It's the same thing I did last night. Unfortunately for them, they jumped the gun, though. They jumped the gun. They didn't have all the facts or the details locked in, all the arguments locked in, and they just fucking posted like, boom, he 20-1 now. And maybe they should have waited a little bit before announcing that. That's my critique on them. Not that they got it wrong in the first place, but that they announced it, that they made the record change without having all their ducks in a row. You feel me? Now they added some more context. Here it goes. We had hundreds of fights daily to Tapology and try to evaluate them consistently. This is difficult to do given the different kinds of fights and circumstances that are sent our way. One category of fight that we have been getting far more strict about is exhibition fights. For the last several years, we have been very restrictive about allowing fighters or leagues to claim exhibition status. It has become a loophole for keeping legitimate fights off records. It allows fighters to compete in otherwise professional bouts without it counting. It had become increasingly difficult to explain why one scenario could count as exhibition but another couldn't. And in almost all scenarios, we felt the fights were all hard-fought, legitimate MMA contests. But the one thing, again, that I'll have to say here is like Tapology, SureDog, and one other ranking system. Tapology, SureDog, and where is it? And Combat Registry, they're all different. They're not aligned, right? It says it right here on it for MMA On Point. Made a post saying the Michael Morales record mystery. Tapology lists his record as 20-1, citing 2 undocumented fights with 1 loss. SureDog deems them amateur bouts and maintains his 19-0 record. The official records keeper, Combat Registry, has his record listed as 16-0. So the 3 top record keepers in the sport are all different. 20-1, 19-0, 16-0. Calling them amateur bouts on SureDog, not exhibitions, which I believe they should be considered. Exhibitions, not even amateur, exhibition. Because I'm going to get into it, but basically, Michael Morales had never made a pro debut yet. He had never debuted pro, but the fighter he fought had debuted pro. He had a pro record of 1-5 at the time. So, he was an established pro fighter. What are we going to do? Revert him back to amateur? No, I don't think we should do that. That's why it should be considered an exhibition bout. Because the guy he fought was already pro. Michael had never turned pro yet. He never even had any amateur fights to that point either. So I think it should just be considered exhibition for both men who competed. Which Tapology eventually did, right? Tapology went back and they counted the 2 fights as undocumented exhibition bouts instead of pro bouts. And then, Combat Registry just like going 16-0. I don't even know what they're not counting. But I'm just explaining to you that like Tapology takes it upon themselves. Here's what I'm getting to. Tapology takes it upon themselves to deem, okay, we're going to get more strict about exhibition fights. People who do things on these reality shows, they're counted as professional bouts now as long as it's not contested on UFC Tough. but they didn't consult any other fucking record keepers, i.e., right, Combat Registry, i.e., Sherdog, and any of the other ones, ESPN. I mean, there's a few other ones out there, but they didn't contact anybody. They just took it upon themselves to do it this way. And I mean, I think that's kind of crazy because you're going to get issues like this when you guys make a steadfast rule without consulting anybody. Now we're definitely going to have some differences in the record keeping. I feel like they should all be operating under some of the same guidelines. You know, you shouldn't be able to create your own guidelines, being Tapology, being Sherdog. There should be actual guidelines, but it just shows that this is like the wild, wild west. I mean, MMA is still this way. The main reason why I also thought that Michael Morales' 2 fights on Ultima Pelea shouldn't have counted as pro is because they weren't sanctioned bouts. But now I'm finding out that Ecuador doesn't even necessarily have like a sanctioning body out there. So it's like crazy that people can fight in Ecuador, have pro bouts, and there's no sanctioning bodies classifying them as pro, amateur, exhibition. I mean, this shit makes no sense. I don't even get it. It just goes to show, though, that MMA is still the wild, wild west. There's not an official commission that all these countries have to operate on. And I'm pretty sure it's like that in boxing. Because there's the Olympics in boxing, right? So everything has to be very official because of Olympics. I'm talking from amateur bouts. It has to be very official. There always has to be commissions involved in these things. With MMA, that's where it gets fishy because there's no Olympics in MMA. So these amateur, these exhibition bouts before fighters turn pro, there's no real serious reason to keep record of these things, if that makes sense to you, because there's no Olympics banking on it. But when it comes to the Olympics in boxing, yeah, it definitely matters what your amateur records are, right? And people are definitely paying attention no matter what country you're from. They're all operating under the same guidelines. Amateur boxers from America, amateur boxers from Russia, amateur boxers from China, they're all operating under the same type of commissions, you know, in the same set of rules. Here in MMA, we don't do that. In Ecuador, there's no commission, apparently, or something like that. In the US, there's a commission that oversees reality TV shows on the UFC Tough. So, I mean, right there, that's a problem. There should be a uniform policy for these things. Tapology shouldn't be making up rules. Combat Registry shouldn't be making up their own rules. And Sherdog shouldn't be making up their own rules and have a difference across all 3 boards. Sherdog calls it amateur bouts. Tapology now calls it exhibition. And Combat Registry, I mean, is counting Michael Morales as 16-0 instead of 19-0. So all this stuff makes no sense. And best believe, if there was an Olympics in MMA, this wouldn't be happening. It just simply wouldn't be. There would be one that we go off of. So I figured I would point that out to you guys. Continuing on this, though, Tapology goes, as a result, new events being sent to us, even if a reality show format, are generally not exempt from counting on Tapology win/loss record. This is the standard we apply to reviewing the Ultima Pelea events that we found footage of this week. So again, they made their own rule here without consulting with the other record keepers, the official record keepers. Very odd. What's not fair and not consistent is that we are applying a roughly 2023 forward framework to a 2017 event. If this event had been reported to us in 2017, we would have certainly accepted it as exhibition at that time. So, you know, in 2023, they started counting all reality shows as pro bouts that take place outside of UFC Tough. Crazy that you can do that as an official record keeper. Just by yourself, you can just up and do that. I mean, you could do more shit, can't you? You can just all of a sudden start counting Scrapyard as pro bouts and just say, oh, yep, we decided that in 2026, the big 26, Scrapyard going to be considered pro now. I mean, where's the people voting on it? You guys just got to make this rule? And, you know, basically have effect on these fighters' careers. It's just crazy to me. Without the fighters being able to vote on it, right? If that makes sense. You get to create a rule, affect fighters' careers before fighters get any say on it. Who are you? Who are you? Yes, you can propose something, but I think it should be voted on and accepted worldwide because this is a worldwide sport. And then Tapology concluded by saying, "This is the crux of how we agree we were incorrect when we classified these yesterday. We apologize for the shitstorm and appreciate all the interesting feedback we received. Some of the feedback was fairly dumb, but some of it contained good and helpful arguments." I mean, you guys changed your opinion, didn't you? So just leave the dumb commentary out of it for right now. But I guess they're just clapping back at everybody calling them stupid for making the change and then ultimately going back on their word. And then here's just the footage once again of Michael Morales getting finished. What up, Scott? What's poppin', Scott? So yeah, Michael got finished here. Now, if you guys want to know the backstory for those who didn't tune into last night's stream, I'll provide it for you. So last night, Tapology announced that Michael Morales' undefeated 19-0 professional MMA record has been corrected to 20-1 after footage surfaced of him getting submitted/knocked out on Ecuadorian Tough in 2017 when he was just 18 years old. Okay. Boom, boom. Ricardo Centeno. So Michael, technically, according to Tapology last night, this has been changed now, but at the time that Michael fought Centeno, he had already won his first fight on this reality show. So he was 1-0 when he fought Ricardo. Ricardo had a previous pro history of 1-5. Like I said earlier, that's why we shouldn't count, like Sherdog, we shouldn't count the bouts that took place on Ultimate Playa as amateur because homie was already pro. He was already at least, let's say he had one fight on the show too that they counted as pro, so he was at least 5 fights in as a pro already. So what are we going to do? We're going to revert him to amateur because he was on a reality show? That's why it should be considered exhibition because there were pro fighters on this event. Now, turns out Michael Morales had never even debuted as a pro yet. And then here's what Tapology said. Update on the Tapology record for welterweight phenom Michael Morales. While Morales had been listed up to this point as undefeated as a professional, we have added one additional professional win and one additional professional loss from the start of his career. We were tipped off to and found extensive footage of an Ecuadorian league, Ultima Pelea, which had at least 3 seasons of a reality-style show with fighters in a tournament. Morales competed in the second season in 2017. While the Ultimate Fighter reality show in the US is still classified as exhibition status, we don't grant the same exhibition status to other reality competitions around the world. TUF has only been exempted because of the US Athletic Commission designation it was given. And like I said, there should be commissions in Ecuador keeping track of these things. Let me look. Does Ecuador have an athletic commission? We got Gravy in the chat. What up, Gravy? Hey, yo, dang, it's not midnight and this fool is live. What the heck? LOL, I see Morales' IG post talking about Tap. Tap got receipts. Early today for this one, homie. I made sure to go live for this one. Maybe I shouldn't have, though. I don't know. We don't got all the usual suspects in here. I think everybody likes it when I go live late. So I'm gonna note that. But that's okay. Everybody will tune in later and the stream will be over with. But they could just catch the replay. Does Ecuador have an athletic commission for MMA events? Okay. AI says Ecuador does not appear to have a single government-recognized athletic commission in the same vein as those found in the U.S., but it does have national federations for MMA that govern and regulate the sport. Okay, so kind of like France. France has the French MMA Federation. So the primary governing body for amateur MMA in Ecuador is the Ecuador Mixed Martial Arts Federation, which is a member of the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, the global governing body for amateur MMA. Got it. So there is a global governing body for amateur MMA, the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, and I guess it varies by country. So if you're in France or Paris, it's going to be the French MMA Federation. If you're in Ecuador, it's the Ecuadorian or Ecuador Mixed Martial Arts Federation. Additionally, the country is involved with other global bodies, WKF, World Kickboxing. Okay, so there's not an official government recognized athletic commission, but there is basically the equivalent in the EMMAF. Now, if the EMMAF didn't sanction these fights, okay, then yeah, they don't count for anything. They don't count for anything. If the EMMAF was not involved, they don't count. Simple and plain. Otto's telling me, yeah, true, or maybe he's responding to somebody in the chat. Scott says Morales got his panties in a bunch over this. I mean, he low-key took it well, Scott. He was like, he said, fuck you, Tapology, with the crying, laughing face. Looks like he took it well. And then he woke up this morning to the good news that his undefeated record's been restored. Gravy says, yeah, you're early. I'm usually not up yet. I work at night. Bro, what's crazy, I think I've developed this audience of like overnight workers, because you're like one of 3 people in the chat, Gravy, who essentially watch me while you guys are at work. And when I'm always live late at night, it indicates that you guys are working at that time. So I think I've acquired some type of audience that's up late hours working, because I've heard from 3 people now in the chat, like, I listen to you while I'm at work. And I'm like, damn, bro, it's late as fuck. That's why I go live late, hoping everybody's off from work. But shit, it works out for me that way too. Okay, so I made a couple points here. I did make a couple points that I just want to write down, some bullet points people are discussing. So initially I was thinking, Michael Morales hadn't turned pro yet, so they definitely shouldn't count as pro bouts. But the guy he fought had turned pro, and he was already 5 fights into his pro career. So now I'm kind of the school of thought that, yeah, they should just be considered exhibitions to meet in the middle of both guys, right? Because Michael had never fought pro, never turned pro. The guy he fought was already 5 fights into his pro career. So it can't really be considered amateur for Michael. It can't be considered pro for this dude. It's got to be considered exhibition. That's how I landed on that. I've already explained it, but I'm explaining it just one more time for you guys. And then I've kind of told you guys some of these points already, but I wrote down Tapology made up their own rules/criteria when it comes to reality show fights, ignoring the main thing, which is if it's considered a pro-sanctioned fight. I mean, that's all they should be concerned with. Did the EMMAF sanction this fight as a pro bout? If they didn't, it doesn't count. Simply doesn't count. And it would be more, how do you put this word? What word am I trying to find here? I don't think I'm going to use the right word, but I'm going to use a word that works. It would be more mandatory for them to really get a grip of everything if there was Olympic MMA. Now, I'm not over here going to fucking call for Olympic MMA and turn this into a topic like that, but I'm just telling you guys, if the Olympics were involved, it would be way more cut and dry. Like, boom, this is pro, this is exhibition, this is amateur. It would be way more locked in. But it's like the Wild West because there's no Olympics. So what's really riding on this? Nothing. Because there's nothing after amateur that it's riding on. I guess the pros, and look what's happening. This is why we would benefit from having an Olympics, because at least it would be a barrier before the people get to the pros. Because these issues are existing all the way until they turn or make it to the UFC essentially. When really these problems could have been corrected for amateur fighters who are trying to get into the Olympics. The discussion would have had to take place then. But now the discussion's taking place once Michael's like, I don't know, 5, 6 fights into the UFC. If you guys are picking up what I'm trying to say, I think that's what they should have done. We need to get Olympics or MMA into the Olympics. And then, okay, so the reason why Tough is considered exhibition bouts is because they're pre-taped and they're 2 to 3 round fights. And they're 2-round fights. But most importantly, it's because they're pre-taped. So this was pre-taped. This was a 2-round fight. It meets under the same criteria as the Ultimate Fighter in the US. So I think it should just be honored. Point blank, period. If there's no commission, we got to make some kind of uniformity. But making a difference in the rules for US tough versus foreign toughs, I mean, you're asking for problems, and that's exactly what just happened. And like I'm saying, I don't mean to keep going back to the point, but Tapology would have never been able to get away with just making this rule up all on their own if there was an Olympic MMA, right? Because then they got to run it by the Olympics, because these amateur fighters who are going to compete to represent their countries, they would have had to run it by the Olympic Commission, whatever that may be. I don't have all these correct terminologies right now, but you guys should get what I'm saying. Oh, and then I did raise a question though. Two questions I got is, does the guy who beat him, does his record change? Right? Do those all get considered exhibitions now? I guess we got to look it up. What's poppin', Trapper Kid? Yes, sir. I'm early live today. But yeah, we got to look at that guy's record now who beat Michael and see if they changed his as well, because they got to change everybody's, not just Michael's. And then that goes to my next point. Would it have mattered if it happened to a fighter who wasn't undefeated? Right? These are just questions. Feel free to answer them in the chat, but this is what I'm asking. And then yeah, the last thing I wrote was that reality shows should just be exhibitions, point blank, period. Stop confusing things. MMA Olympics is impossible, too brutal of a sport. It's not soccer. Sasa, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about with that, bro. Are you acting like they can't wear shin guards and headgear in professional MMA? Is that what you're going to act like? Because with boxing, they wear headgear as well. I think they don't have to wear headgear moving forward or something like that. I heard that recently, I think. But MMA Olympics is not impossible, and it's not too brutal of a sport. And we already have combat sports in the Olympics: judo, wrestling, boxing. Comparing it to soccer is just like, why the fuck are we bringing soccer into this? I mean, homie got no point. But yeah, I mean, MMA Olympics should definitely be a thing. It should definitely be a thing. It would grow the sport. It would make the sport way more official. Because honestly, I don't even know how to like explain this, but I'm gonna try to. It would make the sport way more official, because the UFC can't be the one making these decisions. They're a business, right? They're somewhat compromised by the money at play. Olympics, yes, there's money involved, but it's not on the same scale. It's not on the same scale. No, I don't know how to explain that, but you guys should get what I'm saying. The UFC could be biased, right? The Olympics, it's less biased than that. So that's all I really got to say about that. Yeah, the biggest organization in the sport is corrupt. That's why, True Silence, we can't let things be judged at the UFC level. There needs to be a buffer where things are also kept on an official record. And I just think that would be the Olympics. That's what I believe. It would be the Olympics. That's where you keep things on an official record before people turn pro. And it makes it mandatory. We can't fuck around with this anymore, because fighters are trying to make it to the Olympics. You cannot game the system. Olympics doesn't pay their athletes, and it's only once every 4 years. Okay, so Gravy's telling me Olympics is kind of ass though. It's declined over the years. Yeah, all the combat sports are already in the Olympics. I wouldn't want to see MMA get washed like that. Olympics doesn't pay their athletes, and it's only once every 4 years. If Dana let the UFC guys fight in the Olympics, that'd be lit though. It's not UFC guys though, right? That's what, like, you turn pro after the Olympics. So talking about, Olympics is only once every 4 years. Yes, that is true. Olympics doesn't pay their athletes. Yes, that is true. But the payment part doesn't really matter, because they're still amateur. When you're an amateur, you don't get paid anyway. So just like the amateurs don't pay the athletes, The Olympics also doesn't pay them, and it's on the amateur circuit. Olympics is an extension of the amateur circuit. It's not an extension of the pro circuit. You turn pro after the Olympics. And to the point of like Olympics is kind of assets declined over the years. I get it. I completely get it. And that's a conversation in its own right. But I mean, by that logic, we should just completely get rid of the Olympics, Gravy. If we're operating off that logic, we should just be completely getting rid of the Olympics, I guess. So I mean, if we're going to keep the Olympics around, it is ass. I'm not going to disagree with you. It has declined over the years. I'm not going to disagree with you. But all the other sports are still in it. So, you know, to some degree, I'm going to just stay on that stance and say, this is what I'm going to say. MMA would benefit from having an Olympics. That's what I'm going to say. It would benefit by becoming an Olympic sport. Overall, I think it would. It would just give one extra buffer layer of like making sure there are facts here. That's all. That's all. It just gives one extra buffer. Buyer seller, what's poppin', buyer seller? Listening while doing construction on my house. My man. And then Mike Co says, hey, everyone, what's poppin', Mike Co? Gravy says, yeah, good point. I be forgetting it's amateur. All good, Gravy. No worries. The countries that host it have a lot to do with the event, too. Like Rio had fucked up Olympics. Yeah, I feel you. No, I mean, you're completely right, homie. You are completely right as far as like these Olympics being fucked up and, you know, even money fucks with it, too. Even money fucks with the Olympics, too. But with all that being said, right? With all that being said, because I'm going to say you're right to some degree on that, Gravy. But I'm going to still say we need Olympics. Otto says, on my way to gym. Good luck out there. All right, Otto. Sounds good, homie. Appreciate you for tapping in. So, yeah, essentially, that's the whole Michael Morales story. It should be the standard, though. No, I feel you. I feel you. The standard should be if exhibition bouts on UFC Tough are considered, or sorry, if fights on UFC Tough are considered exhibitions, then it should be a blanket statement. It should be a blanket statement, or else you're just opening up for issues that we just experienced. Okay. So, I do love watching judo and taekwondo Olympics, wrestling too. Gravy, I agree. I love watching the judo and I don't really watch too much taekwondo, although there's always good highlights on that. But I like watching judo, I like watching wrestling, and I like watching Greco-Roman. How about that? And I like watching Greco-Roman. And these are all very official, right? Like look at wrestling. Look at amateur wrestling in the Olympics. It's all kept on a strict record because of the Olympics, because of what rides on that. And it goes across all countries, right? Wrestlers from Japan, wrestlers from Russia, wrestlers from the US, they're all operating under the same guidelines, the same record-keeping system. Here in, you know, MMA, there's 3 different record-keeping systems that are not aligned on anything, and that's just fucking retarded. And I do think it's dumb that Tapology thinks so highly of themselves that they can go ahead and change these rules and change this criteria to what counts as pro, exhibition, or amateur. I mean, bro, humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. You can't consult the UFC, but you guys are not the official record keeper. There's 3 of you guys, at least to my knowledge, there's 3 of you. And you guys should all get on the same page or have some type of commission overseeing you. But again, that'll never happen. Probably the last time I'm going to mention it, but that'll never happen unless there's a reason to make it official on the amateur scene, which would be for Olympics. That would be the excuse, the reason to make everything official worldwide is if there was an Olympics for MMA. If there's never going to be that, then what's the reason to change? What's the urgency to really find a uniform record keeping system? There will be no urgency. The UFC's been around for what, 30 years now? Something like that? More? And then Gravy says, yeah, who watches the watchers? We need somebody like that. We need somebody to oversee Tapology, Sure Dog, and the other one I mentioned earlier that I forget. Combat Registry. Let's look up. What is the official record keeping system for MMA? Okay, so the official record keeping system for professional mixed martial arts, as recognized by the Association of Boxing Commissioners, is the Combat Registry, formerly known as Fight Facts. So it's Combat Registry. I mean, we've been sold a lie, boys. We've been so we have, though. I'm not joking, but it's funny. We've been sold a lie that Tapology is the gold standard, and it's not. Yes, we go to them for all this information, but the true gold standard, according to the American Boxing Commission that apparently runs MMA too, which is just retarded. I mean, guys, do you not see the issues with this shit? We got the Association of Boxing Commissions running MMA fucking record keeping. This makes no sense. The official record keeping system for professional mixed martial arts, as recognized by Association of Boxing Commissions, because we don't have our own Association of MMA commissions. Does that make sense? It's right in front of your face right here. We got the Association of Boxing Commissions choosing who our official record keeping system is. And it's Combat Registry, for the record. And you gotta log into this shit. This is crazy. abcmixedmartialarts.com. So you gotta like sign in and have an account. I don't got an account. I gotta make one. New Mansa, shit. What up, Soda Pop? What's poppin', homie? I just responded to your DM on Instagram about an hour ago. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I hit you in the replies. Don't be dropping any of that info. That's a private convo, Soda Pop. But my man Soda Pop, what's poppin', homie? True Silence says he knows people from the Olympics. Taekwondo and Olympics, I know some people who went. That's pretty dope, homie. I did Taekwondo when I was like 5. Click on Minneapolis trending. I don't see that. Oh. Oh, because the ICE agent who shot a citizen. Yeah, I mean, shit, there's going to be something that pops up on this timeline that's going to be gory. So I'm just going to avoid that. But I've heard about this. If you guys want to drop any ideas, go ahead. But ICE agent kills woman during Minneapolis immigration raid. I mean, should we read it? The shooting happened around 10:45 a.m. Wednesday near East 34th Street and Portland Avenue during a targeted ICE raid. Videos showed the SUV reversing briefly before an agent shot the driver, who crashed and died from head wounds at Hennepin County Medical Center. DHS calls it self-defense against a driver who weaponized her vehicle, while Mayor Jacob Frey dismissed that as bullshit. Ordered ICE out of the city and government. While Mayor Jacob Frey dismissed that as bullshit, ordered ICE out of the city, and Governor Tim Walz vowed a full investigation amid protests and National Guard alert. I mean, ICE comes for me, you getting popped. I'm gonna tell you boys that right now. ICE come for me, you getting popped, boys. That you guys set the tone. All right, boys, you getting popped now. You getting popped if you come for me. Fair warning to ICE. You getting popped if you come at me. You just simply getting popped. Oh, True Silence is talking about the Somalis. Damn. Sasa says, call me crazy, but I be like my MMA with a touch of mafia and corruption. I mean, with a touch of mafia and corruption is crazy, homie, but you're still going to get that. You're still going to get that. That ain't going nowhere. Mafia and corruption go hand in hand with fucking these combat sports. I keep that thing on me. Come pull up on me, bro. Pull up on me. You boys set the standard talking to ICE. You getting popped. You getting popped. I don't even know who Tim Walz is, to be honest with you, Gravy. I'm barely tapped into politics. I'm tapped in a little bit, but shit, I'm barely tapped into politics. I'm in Tampa. We stay strapped down here. To be honest, I don't stay strapped. I'm in California. So I do not stay strapped. Yaroslav Amosov has an opponent lined up. I'm looking forward to a very interesting challenge. I've accepted it. Now it's up to my opponent. I wonder who they're offering him. And for those asking, I don't think it's Joaquin Buckley. Homie just got here. Homie just got here. He don't deserve to fight Joaquin yet. Gravy says, don't tap in. Politics are whack. Try to stay tapped out as possible. No, I feel you, homie. That's why I do stay tapped out of it. Because, like, whenever I fucking involve myself in it, I'm like, damn, bro, what the hell is this shit? Like, what the hell are people talking about? Johnny asking, how is In-N-Out? In-N-Out's fire, homie. I love In-N-Out. In-N-Out, probably my favorite burger chain over everything. When you factor in price, when you factor in, you know, how full it gets you for the price, when you factor in just the flavor profiles alone, when you factor in the customizations, you know, mustard fried, animal style, what's another one? Flying Dutchman, protein style. When you factor all these things In-N-Out's my favorite. It used to be Five Guys, but last time I spent $30 on a fucking bacon burger from Five Guys, and yeah, it ain't hitting. It ain't hitting when you got to pay $30 for a bacon burger. It ain't hitting when you got to pay $30 for a bacon burger. I don't care if they give you extra bacon, no charge. It still doesn't hit. It still does not hit. Because In-N-Out be adding an extra patty for like $2 and shit like that. 3x3, 4x4, 5x5. I mean, come on now. You can't beat In-N-Out. Gravy says, yeah, that shit ain't healthy. I'm talking about politics being unhealthy. Fast food is unhealthy too, but at least it tastes good. Gravy, that's one of the realest things I've heard all day. That's one of the realest things I heard all day, homie. You fuck with Red Robin. You know, Red Robin got some good fries. I'll give it to him. Red Robin got some good fries. They're a little bit more thick cut. You feel me? But I like Red Robin. Red Robin, not bad at all. They got good burgers. But, bro, honestly, those In-N-Out burgers are low-key kind of perfect. It's got a good ratio, like bread to meat ratio, no diddy. It got a good bread to meat ratio. Red Robin, they got too much bread to meat ratio. I'm going to keep it a buck. Red Robin got a bit too much bread to meat ratio, and their fries are a bit too thick cut for me, no diddy. Okay? No. True silence. Get a burger. Oh, you got to get a burger from them brewhouse restaurant / pub. I think I heard about that. Shake Shack. Shake Shack's good, Johnny. Shake Shack's good. I fuck with Shake Shack. Wait, brewhouse restaurant. I'm saying brewhouse near me. Okay, so I guess if we're talking about one of those breweries that sells a burger, that's like for us, that's like BJ's over here. BJ's burgers, they're all right. A little bit too much bread to meat ratio. You got to go to a real pub, like you said. True silence. We got a couple real pubs around here. Webb's Distillery and Brewery. I bet you they got a good burger. That's more local. That's not a chain or anything. Pub 32. I bet you they got good burgers. Oh, there is one called the Brew House. Kind of far from me, but it's called the Brew House. All right, we're on a burger tangent right now. Every time I bring up burgers, this actually always happens. You guys, everybody in the chat always loves a burger topic. I've had this like 2 or 3 times now in the chat. But yeah, not dang. Now I want a bacon burger, gravy. In-N-Out's better. I don't know if you got In-N-Out where you live, but In-N-Out is better. Johnny says I'm New Yorker and will go to California one day. Shit, we will be welcoming you with open arms, homie, and enjoy the In-N-Out when you get here. You're gonna love it. Get like this is my recommendation. Go to In-N-Out, get a 3x3. Shit, if you crazy, get a 4x4, but get a 3x3 just to do it. Just to do it, because a double-double, that's just normal, right? You're coming to In-N-Out, you're coming to Cali, get something different. Run a 3x3 animal style. That comes with a mustard fried patty with grilled onions and spread tomato and lettuce. And then run those animal fries too. That's like spread and cheese on top of the fries. And you're going to be set with that. You're going to be set with that. Get an order of not an order, but just when you get your food, ask them for a side of pepperoncinis. Side of pepperoncini, side of ketchup. Shit, you solid. In-N-Out doesn't have ranch, but you're not even going to miss it. You're not even going to need it. I promise you. That's one of the biggest complaints people have. In-N-Out don't got ranch. You're not even going to miss it. It's not even going to cross your mind that you need ranch. Gravy says nope, no In-N-Outs in Florida. I've had it though. Gotta go animal style. Gotta go animal style. Gotta go animal style. What do you rate it, Gravy? Since you're not from here, what do you rate it when you had it? And you got like an equivalent in Florida? Like what's the go-to burgers in Florida? Buyer seller says I'm getting In-N-Out tonight. You earned it, homie. If you're working on the house outside, you earned it. Run up that In-N-Out later. Johnny says, you ever try a patty melt? Yeah, I think I've had a patty melt before. They're not bad. They're not bad. True Silence says, whenever I'm in the West Coast, I avoid it and get Whataburger. You know, I've never had Whataburger. Never had Whataburger. There's not one anywhere near me, I don't think. Whataburger is in fucking Las Vegas. That's the closest to me. Buyer Seller says, I'm fucking ready for In-N-Out. All this talk got me persuaded. My man, Buyer Seller. One of the few who's in location to go get In-N-Out tonight. My man. I'm going to hold off. I'm on my healthy tip right now. Home cooking. Counting my macros and shit like that. So I'm going to avoid In-N-Out. But maybe on my cheat day, I'm going to get In-N-Out. Texas. True Silence says Whataburger's in Texas. Is a Texas thing. Well, if I'm ever in Texas, I'm going to eat Whataburger. Okay. So, damn, Texas ain't West Coast, is it? I mean, I don't even, like, I'm not good with that kind of shit, so. When he said West Coast, I was thinking he was talking about, like, Cali and shit like that, but I guess he wasn't. But we are West Coast, aren't we? Isn't Cali West Coast? Okay, so Gravy giving a recommendation for Florida burgers. He goes, I'd rate In-N-Out. I had like 7.5 out of 8. Damn, who the fuck does a rating scale out of 8, Gravy? Gravy goes 7.5 out of 8. I've never heard somebody rate a grading scale 1 to 8. It's always 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, Gravy. What the hell's going on, homie? But shit, 1 to 8 will suffice. That's like a 9. That's like a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it. And then he goes, I was in San Diego. It was really good. Haha. But if you're ever in Florida, hit up La Tub Saloon. They got best burgers in Tampa Bay. Okay. All right. La Tub Saloon. I'm going to hit that up if I'm ever in Tampa. Johnny says matchmaking in welterweight can either be great or terrible this year. What do you mean by that, Johnny? Let me know what you mean by that. Oh, okay. So Gravy says 7.5/8 out of 10. Okay. All right, Gravy. I was about to question you. Be like, what the hell? Where'd you get that from? All right. 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I like it. I like it. That's a good score. I don't like no sevens. It's like an average score. You feel me? It got to be below a 7 or above it. So 7.5 or 8 out of 10 works for me. We are the West Coast. Texas is South. Okay. Yeah, we are West Coast. Shout out buyer seller. I know New York's East Coast. Eric says Whataburger and In-N-Out taste the same, coming from a Texan myself. Okay, so Whataburger is Texas's version of In-N-Out. I mean, makes sense. It would behoove someone to just make a similar version of In-N-Out in a region where they don't have In-N-Outs, because everybody be craving In-N-Out. If you brand it as like, oh, the In-N-Out of Texas, I mean, people are just going to go there based off that just to find out, since they don't get it anywhere else. If Usman gets the title shot, then the matchmaker should be fired. I mean, yeah, Johnny, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'll tell you something though, because I'm sure you might be new to the channel, Johnny. I haven't seen you in the chat before. So I'll share something with you. I was asking Joaquin Buckley. We recently did an interview. I was asking Joaquin, who does he think should be the #1 contender at welterweight? Tell me what you think about this, because it's a totally different thought process than where I was even thinking. And probably you too. But Joaquin says, let Kamaru Usman and Islam fight so that they can both retire when it's all said and done, freeing up 2 spots for welterweight contenders to fight for the vacant belt once that fight is said and done. And I was like, okay, I mean, you're kind of cooking a little bit with that. You're kind of cooking. You know, get rid of these guys, just let them fight each other, and then on to the next one, right? 2 new guys fight for the vacant title. So it'd be like an Ian Gary versus the next #1 contender that's up. Johnny says, I'm new here. That's all good, homie. That's why I'm letting you know. But tell me what you think about that. Like, are you cool with that? Are you not cool with that? You know, I'd be kind of cool with that. If Islam and Kamaru both retire, if the UFC lets them fight, I mean, we got to put that in a contract. Like, if we're letting you guys fight, you guys both got to retire. Like, we're done with you after this for what you did. But we'll let you do it. Just fucking retire when it's all said and done. Or Usman, you got to move up. The belt's got to be vacated. If we do this bullshit-ass fight, you guys got to vacate the belt no matter who wins. Sounds kind of crazy, though, now that I'm, like, fucking elaborating on it. But let me know your thoughts on that, Johnny. I'd like to know. Okay, Gravy says, Texas is west, I feel. Maybe central, depending on what side of the state. Texas big as fuck. Texas is massive. Gravy, I'll take your word for it, homie. Good riddance, Islam, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think we're over all these guys, man. We're over a lot of these guys. These two time a year guys that fight 2 times a year, we're over you. These dudes who be sitting out for Ramadan every year, we're over you, homie. Devin Haney's fought during Ramadan. Bilal's known for fighting during Ramadan. I mean, come on, man. You want to fight for a U.S. promotion? Somebody got to fight during Ramadan. Scratch our back, we scratch yours. Except for the Dagestanis, they do absolutely no back scratching. Ain't that right? The Dagestanis don't do no back scratching for no one. They just want everything, and they get everything. Shit, if there's Dana White privilege, what do we call it? Dagestani privilege? The Dagestanis get all the privilege, and finally it's getting pulled away from them, and rightfully so. I've been waiting for that shit to get pulled away from them, because they don't deserve that privilege that they get. Are there any Somalis in the UFC? I don't think so, Soda Pop. Honestly, I wouldn't know off the top of my head. But speaking about Dagestani fighters who were over, apparently this is a guy who's pretty good. Check him out. Never seen him before. Is Neil Magny a Somali? No, he's Haitian, I believe. The Haitian sensation, Soda Pop. Shout out to the Haitians. Dagestanis only scratch each other's back. That's a fact, Eric. Usman should be looking for revenge against Bilal. Okay, and then Johnny's responding. Johnny said, I think Islam would like to have 2 more fights before turning 35 in October. Interesting. Interesting. And then he'll retire after 2 fights. That's a tough one for Islam. That's a very tough one for Islam because there's 3 fights for Islam, right? There's the Kamaru Usman bout, there's the Ilia Topuria bout, and there's the Ian Gary bout. I think Ian Gary should be next up on paper. Then it would probably be an Ilia Topuria if he can get past the winner of Paddy versus Gaethje coming up on the 24th of this month. I think Kamaru Usman way out of the conversation. The only way I'll be accepting of a Kamaru versus Usman, or sorry, of a Kamaru versus Islam, is if they both, vacate the title, whoever wins. If we do some bullshit ass fight like that, then you guys got to vacate the title. Open up the spot for 2 more guys because the welterweight is too log jammed. Too log jammed to be throwing a Kamaru Usman in there when Ian Gary is ready and waiting to go. Then we can do Ilia Topuria right after that, right? As long as he gets past the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy. And if Ilia doesn't get past the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy, then okay, we could throw Kamaru Usman up in there. But there's just so many moving parts. It's crazy. Islam's worried about the over 35 curse. Johnny, that makes a lot of sense to me. That does make a lot of sense to me. And I could see it where Islam definitely won't want to fight past being 35 years old. Definitely won't. I also think Islam's going to have a hard time wanting to fight any contenders. That's why he wants Usman. Then he's going to fight Ilia. But it's like, dude, that's delaying the welterweight division too much. We have viable contenders right now. Way too much. Way too many viable contenders for you to fucking be operating, only for yourself. But what did I just say about the Dagestani fighters? They only scratch each other's backs. They don't scratch anyone else's back. You talk about Gaethje's barbecue herpes? I did. Gravy, watched the stream from 2 days ago. We discussed it, homie. We discussed it. I seen him lashing out on Dovey on Twitter. I saw that too. Shout out to Dovey. I used that same screenshot Dovey provided. I like Dovey. It's an ingrown hair. Bullshit, it's an ingrown hair. Maybe it started off that way, but it definitely became staph. But low-key, I think it's pretty much healed up already. Franklin saying Islam Scorpio versus Usman Taurus is a good matchup. Franklin, I don't... Franklin and his fucking zodiac signs. Shout out to the Scorpio Islam. Shout out to the Taurus Usman. I know Taurus is like a water zodiac sign, but that's about all I know about it. Oops, I'm behind. Franklin says, Johnny says Islam would stop Usman in the first round with leg kicks and oblique kicks. Honestly, I think Kamaru Usman just lies about his knee problems to make people think that he's compromised when he's really not. I mean, the performance against Joaquin Buckley, he showed no knee problems at all. I feel like he capping now. But yeah, this dude, Otar Tanzilovi, isn't in the UFC yet. I'd bet anything he's far better than half of the UFC bantamweight roster. One of the biggest questions I have about the UFC is why they aren't recruiting talented Georgian fighters who actually deserve to be there. Basically throwing shade at all the grapplers from the Caucasus Mountains, especially those with fun fighting styles, including Atar. Overall, besides having a double champion and a former champion, both of whom were in the P4P top 3 for some time, the latest addition was Alexandre Topuria, whom they signed at the end of 2024. Dang, Usman knee conspiracy. I'm into it. Yep, that's my conspiracy on Usman. He capping. Usman straight capping. He capping. He playing injured, and he's not. Pause. I'm into it. Shit. No Diddy. Soda Pop says, I think Loco Torres is the toughest fight for Topuria in the UFC. Call me crazy. I mean, Loco Torres is a lot bigger than Ilia. He's going to meet fire with fire. You're not crazy, Soda Pop. It might seem a bit crazy right now. I mean, maybe you're a little bit crazy, Soda Pop, but that doesn't mean you're going to be wrong. Maybe you're just ahead of the game. How about that? Maybe you're not crazy, you're just ahead of the game. Soda Pop's adding, Otar lost on Dana White Contender Series to a guy who's 0-2 in the UFC. How is he better than half the bantamweights? LOL. I mean, I don't know. I just bookmarked this to show you guys. I got no clue who this guy is. And then Soda Pop says, this guy glazing just because he's a fellow Georgian. That's true. That is true. Let's get off this guy then. He just fell forward on them takedowns he did. Oh, you're talking about Usman versus Joaquin? Something tells me Usman had like a knee surgery and they're completely fine now. Ian Ferry. I think Ian Ferry should fight Islam Makhachev next. Not Usman. Okay, the next topic of the day, though, is this whole Ilia Topuria thing. I mean, do you guys want to see the hockey fight? Here's the hockey fight. Loco is loco. Call me loco. Shout out to Soda Pop. You might be loco, homie, but don't mean you're going to be wrong. But we'll never find out because Loco and Ilia probably never fucking fighting. Look at these hockey players just going at it, though. What up, got you? Usman is the GOAT. You know what? I have a lot of respect on Usman's name. I don't know if that's being portrayed so far in the stream tonight, but I do got a lot of respect on Usman's name. Like a lot of respect on his name. So these NHL players, apparently the guy in the white, his name is Michael Oliver, or Matthew Oliver. Guy in the black is Ryan Reeves. They threw down center ice during a San Jose Sharks game last night. Oliver dropped Reeves. And now we got MMA fans calling on the UFC to sign Oliver as he's 21-0 in fights over the last 2 seasons. And apparently Reeves is like the final boss. This guy Reeves is like, you beat Reeves, you get respect of everybody on top of being undefeated in the first place. So Matthew met the final boss, dropped his ass, improves his NHL record to 21-0 over the last 2 seasons, and now everybody wants the UFC to sign him to the heavyweight division. Shit, this could be the greatest heavyweight walking planet Earth, and we don't even know it. I'm playing. He don't got nothing on Tom Aspinall, or does he? Or does he? These hockey players got some grit now. Don't underestimate them. Okay, I'm trying to get to some of the bookmarks, though. We'll get to Anthony Joshua. I'd rather just watch the interview where he's crying. But, look at this crazy warm-up. True Silence asks, how do they not die on the ice? I don't know, bro. That's one of my biggest questions. Because think about it. They got those skates on the bottom of their feet. Like, how is someone not fallen into that skate yet during a fist fight? Super dangerous. They're literally fighting on top of knives. Fighting while standing on top of knives. Johnny's saying maybe one day a hockey player becomes an MMA fighter. I mean, this guy. Maybe this guy, homie. Hockey games are fun as fuck live. I've been to some. Gravy. When I was younger, I've been to some. I agree. Hockey games got a good atmosphere to it. You got to bang on the glass and shit. These dudes just be hitting each other up on that glass. It's actually fun to watch. A million times better than baseball. Baseball, I'd rather watch it on TV. Hockey, in person, a million times better than TV. Franklin says Usman has been walking down the stairs backwards for the last 3 years. His knees are fine. Oh, shout out to Franklin. Doing Usman dirty, but I mean, he's been walking downstairs backwards and he's been walking on grass for like a hot minute. Although I think those days are over with. Soda Pop says, "Hey, don't doubt Loco. If given the right fights, he's 2 wins away from a title shot." I mean, he's Mexican. He's handsome. He knocks dudes out. All right, Soda Pop. I won't doubt our man Loco. I won't doubt him. I won't doubt him. But, you know, we got Ilia talking about moving up and stuff like that. I'm not even saying Loco can't get to a title shot. I just think Ilia is going to be long gone before he gets there. That's mostly what I'm saying. Soda Pop says Loco versus Gamrot and then Loco versus Holloway, Charles winner, and then title shot. Very possible. I'm going to say it. He's the biggest up and comer out of Mexico, and Dana loves Mexicans. Shit, honestly, Soda Pop, I'm going to say this. I ain't going against Max Holloway if Loco goes up against Max Holloway. And a Mexican versus a Hawaiian, bro? Have we seen that before? Have we seen a Mexican? Oh, Brian Ortega, right? Shit, now we got a purebred Mexican straight from Tijuana. That might be one of the craziest fights we ever see. A Mexican versus a Hawaiian. I mean, that might be one of the craziest fights we ever see. Loco got some work to do, though, because Max Holloway, my boy, is great. Okay, my boy Max Holloway is great. And so Loco has the potential to be great, but he got a little bit more proven to do. Gravy Show says, I want to say there was a pro-Canadian hockey player that fought MMA out of TriStar with Faraz GSP. Forget his name. He fought in the UFC, though. I think I know who you're talking about, but I forget too. Oh, Steve Bose. Steve Bose. There we go. He fought Cannonier. Yeah, Steve Bose. Steve Bose. You're right. Scorpios don't usually like each other. Franklin, I know you pointed out a Scorpio versus Scorpio matchup last night, I believe. Ask me how I know Scorpios, because you're a Scorpio, Franklin, and you probably dated a Scorpio. Soda Pop says, we need Loco versus Holloway, and Loco cracks that chin. How dare you, Soda Pop? How dare you? Yair versus Max, that's right. But Yair's like a mental midget. It's hard to explain. He always loses those types of fights. And did Yair actually fight Max? I honestly don't even remember that he did. No way Max fought Yair, right? Oh, he did. Unanimous. Yeah, he did. Forgot about that. Wasn't a good enough fight if Max won by unanimous. Loco would put on a better fight. Hopefully, once he gets up there. I don't know how you feel about the Noche Sphere card, but I love that shit. I mean, it was good. I kind of forget about it. Like, there's no fights that I'm thinking that pop in my head right now. But I mean, I got no complaints about it. I wish every UFC card was Noche Sphere. Shit, it would be fun. It would be fun, Gravy. Soda Pop says, yeah, Yair don't have Mexican heart and grit. Loco is built different. Yeah. Yair actually, like, really, really regresses the reputation that Mexican fighters have because he just fucking has no heart. Like, absolutely none. The Crash Out King, Yair Rodriguez. Can't win a tough matchup. He can only win gimme fights. Put a little bit of pressure on the line, right? Put a little bit of pressure on the line for Yair Rodriguez. He's going to lose that. He's going to lose that. True Silence says, I fuck with Josh Hockett, the NFL heavyweight who just got signed to UFC. He got a fat-ass lion tat on his chest. Now, I fuck with Hockett. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's a bit unproven, so we got to see what he could do. Oh, and for those wondering, right, I showed you guys earlier Michael Morales losing to Homie on Ultima Pelea. Here's Michael Morales getting his revenge 3 years later. I knew I had some good shit bookmarked. Steezy in the building. What up, Steezy? Nice of you to join us, Steezy. MMA Guru says, we got the Guru in the chat, boys. We got the Guru. Is this the Guru? MMA Guru says, I was at the Sphere as media. It was great. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Shout out to MMA Guru. Simon Feck. Gravy says, oh, you see the DC versus John Jones thing? I did, homie. It was good. I love it. I love it. I love the good DC John Jones beef. It looks like it's coming to a halt, though. It seems like they have more respect for each other these days than anything else. But DC wants to run it in Real American Freestyle, and I'm all for it. Run that shit up. I want to see DC wrestle John Jones in Real American Freestyle. DC says he's beating his fucking ass in RAF. So honestly, I need that first before they become true friends. They can become true friends after that. Guru, who are you representing at the Sphere as media? Just curious. You didn't get in there on your own, did you? You work for some type of media outlet? Like one of the popular ones or what? Give me the game, Guru. Give me the game. How I get in there? How I get my foot in that motherfucking door, homie? Oh, Soda Pop says the Sphere card broke the Loco Cell Hearts. Loco plus Incel is how he came up with that. It's the name of our fan base. Shout out to all the Loco Cells worldwide. All of Loco's Incel fans. Yeah, Loco lost, right? Didn't he get like knocked out or something? Yeah, true silence. Michael Morales beat the guy who gave him his loss. Let's watch it real quick.
Ricardo consigue meter, es decir, Ricardo consigue este momento meter 3 cruzados en su lesión, pero Michael está mostrando una excelente combinación, un excelente uppercut, una gran línea, ¿ya? Y tenemos un nuevo campeón, es decir,
increíble,
impresionante.
Stoked after knocking his ass out. We got Jew in the chat. What up, Jew? What's poppin', homie? Good to see you in here. We got Jay HT in the chat saying, hey, Jay, what's poppin', HT? Always good to see you boys in here. We live early today. I hope you guys enjoy it. Or if you prefer me to go live late, straight up let me know that shit. Straight up let me know that shit. I want to know. I want to know the truth. Are we enjoying me being live right now? Do you guys like it when I go live later? Shit, let me know. Let me know. Franklin says he's attracted to Scorpio women, even though he's a Scorpio. That's how he knows that they don't get along. Shit, Franklin. My advice to you, homie, don't even try to find out what their zodiac sign is. I think it's trouble in paradise. Once you find out, you start second guessing because you're like, oh damn, that's what their zodiac is. We not compatible. But shout out to Franklin. You could do whatever you want, homie. Okay, so Guru says, I work for a media outlet, not popular. They just started like UFC 6 or something like that. Okay, so they've been in there forever. I got you. True silence, I think, saying zodiac signs don't matter. They don't matter that much, in my opinion. But Franklin, I don't want to burst your bubble. So if you into that shit, then you into that shit. There's a lot of people who are. But if a girl ever came up to me and asking me for a zodiac sign, I'd be a little bit put off. I'd be like, I actually wouldn't even answer. I'd just be like, nah, like I don't pay attention to that shit. Like that's what I would do. I'd shut that shit down. I ain't giving you ammo to fucking think of a reason why we shouldn't be together. I'm gonna just tell you I don't follow that shit.
todo
Impresionante
apuntaba a una pelea de esta magnitud.
Impresionante la línea que acaba de mostrar Michael.
Qué brutal, qué contundencia la de Michael Morales.
Ricardo a contagiar.
Steezy's asking, how is Michael Morales' loss reversed? And the most simple way of saying it, Steezy, Morales' loss was reversed because Tapology took it upon themselves to make this rule change where reality show fights that take place outside of UFC Tough are going to be considered pro bouts. They made this rule change in 2023. So all the fights that took place after 2023 are considered pro if it's on a reality show outside of UFC Tough. So being that this fight took place in 2017, they said, Okay, we'll accept it as an exhibition. And that's exactly how it happened. But that brings me to a question I had. Christ is king, Christ is king. Christ is king. True Silence says, I just say Christian. My sign is the cross. My man, True Silence. I couldn't have said it better myself, homie. Couldn't have said it better myself. Franklin says, I think it's all true. And Franklin, you're allowed to think whatever you want to think, homie. I ain't getting on you. I ain't getting on you. You know, my brother, he really into zodiac signs. My brother's really into zodiac signs. He puts a lot of weight on it. So, like, you know, I know a lot of people who put weight on that shit. But what I wanted to look up is Michael Morales. The guy he beat, did they retroactively change his record too? And everyone on that season? So these two fights, right? They're not counted. But Ricardo Centeno, see? They retracted Ricardo's too. So he's 9-9 now. Interesting. They better have done this with everyone. How about this guy, Christian Arroyo? Oh, this Michael Morales was his only fight, so he 0-0. Okay. So they did take back Ricardo's fights too and made them exhibitions, which I believe is the right choice. Exhibition bouts. Because Ricardo, if you take a look here, he was 1 win and 4 losses at the time of the Michael Morales fight. He had a pro record of 1-4 at the time of that Michael Morales fight. So he was already an established pro, but Michael Morales was yet to debut as a pro. Do you guys see the difference? That's why it's counted as a exhibition. But yeah, Steezy, I hope that answers your question. That's the reasoning there. That's why it was reversed. Gravy Show says, I'm a Gemini. Nice, Gravy, smooth operators. Damn, Franklin. All right, Franklin, let me know what am I, Franklin? If I'm a Cancer, what am I? Now I'm over here fishing for a compliment from Franklin is crazy work. But Franklin saying Geminis are smooth operators. I wonder what Franklin classifies Cancers as. I'm a Cancer, homie. What do you call us? And right now we're going to cover the Ilia Topuria story. We're going to champ rounds for it. Damn, DC says him and John Jones were arguing on the reality show. We'll watch a few of these clips. Franklin says, sucks, I'm 3 minutes behind. Damn, Franklin. Fast forward that shit, bro. Okay, so let's cover Ilia. Today, Ilia was filmed walking into court, and he was sworn by maybe Spanish media. I'm not sure, you know, what country, but I'm pretty sure Spanish media. And he said, I'm going to see my daughter again very soon, so I'm not stressed at all. I'm very calm. My priority is my children, my family. That's my priority. Now, him saying I'm going to see my daughter again very soon, he's manifesting it, right? He hadn't even stepped into court yet. So I don't want people to think by him saying this, the court session went well, and he's kind of shedding light on how that court appearance went. No, he's trying to manifest, I'm going to see my daughter soon. This was before he stepped into the courthouse. But let's play it.
Voy a volver a ver a mi niña muy pronto, entonces no estoy nada agobiado, estoy muy tranquilo, por favor. Si me dejáis paso.
¿Por qué estáis aquí? Cuéntanos. Es por la custodia de tu hija, Ilia.
Por favor, tenemos que pasar.
Espera, Ilia.
Pero por favor.
Nieto, tú estás como un descanso, ¿cómo estás tú también, personalmente?
¿Cómo te encuentras tú?
¿Cómo te encuentras, Ilia?
Cuando salga, tal vez.
¿Cuál es tu prioridad ahora mismo, Ilia?
Mi prioridad es mi hija, mis hijos, mi familia, esa es mi prioridad.
¿Estás tranquilo por la denuncia?
Porque voy a volver a ver a mi niña muy pronto.
And for those wondering about the court appearance, what went down in that court appearance, here's the details. Well, first off, here's a picture of them two walking out of the court. I mean, I love this photo. Absolutely love this photo. Do you understand Spanish, Perry? No, I don't. I don't, True Silence. But how much do we love this photo right here? Ilia smiling outside of court. No sunglasses on. Giorgina sunglasses on. Straight faced. Look at him smiling. My man Ilia. Team Ilia. Fucking Team Ilia. Now, I guess Champ Browns didn't fully report on the court appearance today, but here's what they wrote, and I'll pull up something that's a bit more informative. In fact, let's just do that right now. I think ACD has done a good job of covering this stuff. See what I mean, though? This is fake news. This is fake news information. ACD, I just tried to compliment them. Now they're giving fake news. Saying Ilia Topuria appeared in court today with Giorgina to decide the situation of their marriage. He left court very happy. I'm happy because I'm going to see my girl again soon. My family is my priority. He said this as he walked into court, homie. Please get the facts right. And it says the court hearing today between Ilia and Giorgina was because of a request from Uzcategui to move from Spain to Miami with their daughter, where she had lived before their marriage. Ilia Topuria refused this request. Uzcategui left court without speaking to the press. Ilia Topuria left the court smiling and said to the press that he is happy and that he will see his daughter again. I mean, unless Champ Browns was wrong, this happened as he was walking into court, not as he was walking out of court. But here's another video of him leaving court. Ilia leaving court today with a massive smile on his face. Everything is perfect. I'm happy because I'm going to see my girl again soon. So, okay. Maybe Champ Browns reported it wrong, and maybe ACD's reporting it right.
Voy a volver a ver a mi niña muy pronto, entonces no estoy nada agobiado, estoy muy tranquilo, por favor. Si me dejáis paso.
¿Por qué estáis
Te vas a-
aquí? Cuéntanos. Es por la custodia de tu hija, Ilia.
Por favor, tenemos que pasar.
Espera, Ilia. Perdón,
por favor,
un minuto. Tú
pero
estás
por
como en
favor.
descanso. ¿Cómo estás tú también, personalmente?
¿Cómo te encuentras tú?
¿Cómo te encuentras, Ilia?
Cuando salga, tal vez.
¿Cuál es tu prioridad ahora mismo, Ilia?
Mi
¿Confías en
prioridad es
tener la
mi hija,
custodia de la
mis
niña?
hijos, mi familia, esa es mi prioridad.
¿Estás tranquilo por la denuncia de malos tratos?
Por dejar caminar, por favor. Os lo pido, por favor.
¿Estás tranquilo, Ilia?
Cuidado.
Explícanos por
¿Qué
qué venís
esperas
hoy
del
aquí
día de hoy,
exactamente.
Ilia?
Por favor.
¿Cómo te encuentras? ¿Vas a volver a pelear?
I don't speak Spanish, but this is for any of the Spanish speakers in here. You guys can translate it, or at least you guys are getting it, but I'm not.
Dentro de poco, ¿no?
Cuidado, por Dios.
Okay, so that's pretty much the Ilia Topuria situation, though. Now, Anthony Joshua apparently did an interview and was crying, but there's no footage. Like, what's going on here? People are posting this photo of Anthony Joshua crying, saying Anthony Joshua broke down in tears during an interview following the burial of his two close friends. It feels like a moment that's far too heavy for public conversation. He should be at home, resting and grieving in private, not being asked to relive such pain on camera. Watching this is truly heartbreaking. Where can I find it? Oh, I was actually going to show you guys one other thing too. Just about that Michael Morales situation. Give the man some space too soon. I mean, there's no interview though. Like, what are people talking about? Where's the interview? I mean, it would have been posted all over the place if there was a real interview. I don't know what people are talking about. Like, it would be too soon if it actually happened, but I'm kind of doubtful this interview took place.
Right, let's get more on this.
Where do people get the fucking screenshot from? Yeah, there ain't no interview. Have you seen Fuentes' interview on Piers Morgan? It's the funniest thing ever. Yeah, when he said he's a virgin, when he said he's never had sex with a woman, that's crazy, huh, Soda Pop? Nick Fuentes being a virgin is absolutely insane. And then Franklin says, women with different signs have different cats. If you pick up my drift, that alone says something because, yes, have studied it. I honestly don't get that one, Franklin. I don't get that one. Women with different signs have different cats. Cats meaning dudes? Soda Pop, I actually haven't watched the full thing. Maybe I should watch it. Maybe I should definitely watch the full thing. In fact, I probably will. Franklin also saying, Cancer, of course you are. That's probably why I'm here. My roommate is Cancer. My moon sign is Cancer, Scorpio, and Cancers get along great. Cancers are great leaders by nature. Damn, all right, Franklin, I love it. I love it. I got my little fucking zodiac sign breakdown from Franklin right now. I never looked too much into it, Franklin, but I'm glad to know. I'm glad to know all that. All right, Soda Pop, I'm gonna watch it, homie. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it. Ariel had something to say. He emailed back and forth with like an owner of Tapology. Oh, you're saying Fuentes or somebody made a too soon joke about the hollow? I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why I remembered it. Oh, True Silence saying Fuentes ain't want to contradict his Catholic beliefs, so he can't just say he has 20 bodies. But bro probably don't get laid. He probably doesn't get laid, but he's probably not a virgin. That's what you're telling me. Yeah, these guys who Trojan horse about their religion, acting like they follow everything in the Bible and aren't sinners. It's like you're forgetting rule number 1, idiot. We're all sinners. We're born sinners. We're born sinners. So you know better than a dude having sex by not having sex. We're born sinners. The key is you pray to Jesus and you pray to God for forgiveness for those sins that you commit. All right. Ariel got an email from the guy who, like, I don't know, the main guy on Tapology. Basically the guy admitted that they jumped the gun and they should have never fucking changed Michael Morales' record to 20-1. So let's listen to this.
Wait, who's losing?
Manchester United.
Oh, it's been tough. It's been tough.
Fucking Burnley.
It's tough. I got an email. I got something else, but I don't know if I can say the other thing. But I got an email from one of the founders and owners of Tapology, Gregory Sachs, who's a great, I would say, what's the word that I'm looking for? He's a contributor to the sport of MMA who's always very honest, open, and transparent. He was watching us talk about the Tapology drama. He sent me an email, and I asked him if I could read it on the air because I thought it was a very, solid email and it was worth sharing with everyone. So he said, watched your conversation. You guys do a really good job. It was pretty balanced set of takes. Yes, Tapology basically handled the whole thing badly and was a mess, and it's my fault for not stopping it earlier. The exhibition situation is maddening as far as trying to be a record keeper. We are trying to clamp down on it further and allow fewer exhibitions. Everyone has a different definition of what exhibition even means. I would like to do away with almost all exhibition statuses, including tough, but we haven't been willing to go that far just yet. So there you have it. I think a very real response to what is a very, very, very complex situation. I don't envy them because they have.
I will say that they got to stop putting so much merit on bro, they're doing too much. Can I just say that they're doing too much? Like, I don't care what you guys think. If exhibitions exist, they exist. I don't want your guys' personal feelings about these certain types of bouts to get in the way of things. We got exhibitions, we got amateur, and we got pro. Get with the fucking program, point blank, period. They just said in his email to Ariel that we wish we could get rid of exhibitions altogether. Why, bro? Why? There's a fucking format for exhibitions. And it's called the reality shows, the toughs. Because it's a fucking hodgepodge of competition of athletes. Some are turned pro, some aren't, depending on what's going on. Usually on the UFC, they're all turned pro already. But on these other scenes, clearly we just saw Michael hadn't even turned pro yet. He fought a guy with a 1-4 record. So, no need to get rid of exhibitions. They serve a purpose in the sport. Amateur, exhibitions, and pro. And in terms of having an Olympics for the sport, right? Amateur would be bouts that count towards the Olympics. Exhibitions would not be bouts that count towards the Olympics or pro records. Mostly, exhibitions is a term used to distinguish between a pro fight and a non-pro sanctioned fight. That's pretty much the topics for today, though. It was a bit of a slow news day, but I mean, we got out those topics. Oh, I mean, we have Arman Tsarukyan trolling Paddy and Ilia, so I know, look at all those toys on bro's desk. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. Something about this. He likes the clutter or something. I'm not even going to get on his ass for all the toys, but although it's funny as fuck, but it's the bigger thing that stands out to me is like all this clutter. Like, I prefer a nice clean cut type of look, but even look at the back shelf. He just be stuffing things on that shelf, clearing all the fucking space. I'd low-key get a little bit of anxiety with this. I'm more of a, what do you call it, a minimalist. The less shit around me, the better. Easier to find things. Okay, so Arman Tsarukyan trolled Ilia today with a dwarf sparring partner, and he captioned the post, finally found someone to help me prepare for Topuria. So let's check it out. Arman Tsarukyan sparring with a midget. Arman ain't nowhere close to fighting Ilia, but he keeps trolling him. That's not stopping him. He not letting that stop him from trolling him. Who said I can't shoot for a double leg on a short opponent? So nothing to see there, just Arman giving homie the work. But Arman did also send a shot at Paddy Pimblett. So here's what he said. You know, the video surfaced of Paddy getting submitted during the King of the Mat annual competition at his gym in Liverpool, Next Generation MMA. And Arman says, is this the trash can that said he can out-grapple me? So these boys, I mean, Paddy had this one coming from Arman. Paddy's been trashing him way worse in the media lately, on camera, on a microphone. I mean, Arman types out a little sentence about Paddy, but Paddy had it coming. Paddy had it coming. He's been trashing Arman left and right in the media. Arman was more than in his right to trash Paddy for losing. Even if Paddy got a fight coming up, it's all part of the game. You use what you can use. Use what they give you. Oh, and then we were going to take a look at champ rounds real quick, right? So let's hear DC saying him and Jon Jones argued a lot during the filming of their reality show. Quote, there were multiple occasions where Jones and I argued about fighting each other in a boxing match, to which I agreed. So Jon Jones made the Louisiana come out of DC. Soda Pop says, aren't they the same height? Who, the dwarf and Ilia, or what? True Silence says, Arman beats Paddy bad. I mean, if you want me to pick someone to win that fight, I'm going to pick Arman. But I want to see Paddy run it with Ilia first. All right, let's listen to DC.
I go to do it, and I see Jones. When Jones and I were fighting, we could not be around each other without rushing at each other to fight. I'm 46 years old. Jones has to be almost 40, 38.
Soda Pop, I think Ilia and Arman are the same size. I mean, Arman might be like an inch or two taller than him, but yeah, you're pretty much right about that.
839. So that need to rush and fight at every turn is gone. We were as cordial as we can be, when in reality, there's a lot of underlying things between us that will never die. It's also crazy to see John and I in the same situation, where at times it's cordial, and a lot of times we're kind of just arguing the whole time. We just argue. It's what happens whenever we're around each other. It's also hard not to continue to challenge each other. There were multiple occasions in the midst of the time spent together where Jones and I argued about fighting each other in a boxing match, to which I agreed to do if it's just boxing. And the one that caught fire the most was the wrestling thing, because I said that I would wrestle him, Real American Freestyle Wrestling, and I would beat him. That stems from John earlier saying I would wrestle Daniel in an exhibition or a grappling match for charity. That was something he said prior. Luis, find that, clip that. I think that is honestly the most telling part of the relationship between myself and Jon Jones. That no matter what it is in terms of respect for skill, respect for ability, you guys know, in terms of a person, him and I will never be or see eye to eye. But in terms of the fighter, I feel like between us, there's a need to compete. And truthfully, in the heart of it, it was actually a gift to have someone with that level of skill to want to compete with that much and have that need for competition. And that still sits today.
Raf, Real American Freestyle, here these boys come. Jon Jones versus DC in Real American Freestyle. Book it now. Book it now. I mean, shit, book it yesterday. I don't know who needs to hear this, but book that shit fucking last week, okay? We are already overdue on that fight announcement, on that match announcement. We're already overdue. It's been 5 seconds since that clip concluded. It's been like 2 or 3 days since DC said on some type of interview that he's down to fight Jon Jones and RAF and that he beat his ass. Shit, every day that goes by, we're like 3 days overdue. Every day that goes by, it's 3 days overdue. Michael Chandler says conversations are happening with the UFC about a potential Conor McGregor fight at the White House. The odds are higher than they ever have been. Conversations are being had. Things are moving in that direction. I'm going to start training here very soon. Laser focused on June. I mean, let's hear Mr. See You at the top, Michael Chandler. React to Fuentes Piers on stream low key. I don't think I will, Soda Pop, just because I don't want fucking Mr. Piers Morgan coming after me, man. I don't want him coming after me. Maybe we could watch like 5 or 10 minutes of it. We could watch a few minutes of it.
I want you to put a percentage number on it. What are we at? Where are we at on this thing happening?
Man,
Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler walking out South Lawn, main event at the White House.
I mean, I think the odds are higher than they ever have been at this point. You know, it's no secret. Obviously, I want to fight Conor, and I think it's no secret by the things that he's posting, the interviews that he's doing. Posted a video of me and him and our highlights and all that kind of stuff a week or so ago. He wants to fight me. I want to fight him. He wants to fight at the White House. Conversations are being had. I think things are moving in that direction, but we're never going to know when this thing's going to be announced. So we will see. All I know is I'm going to start training here very soon, like laser focused on June, whatever it is. And we'll see how it plays out.
What do you mean then? What do you mean conversations are happening? Who's having conversations? What's going on in those conversations?
Conversations are happening, man. You know, it's just, it's, you know, I'm trying to make this thing happen. We'll put it that way.
I want you to put a percentage number on it.
It's good to see Brett Okamoto back doing interviews. I feel like this dude took a huge hiatus from the sport all of 2025. But shit, big 2026, he back. All right, Nick Fuentes, Piers Morgan. You guys want to see some of the stuff? Should I just type it in? Maybe there's some funny videos on X. The Virgin comment did send me, though. I think you guys want to see. Okay, let's watch the Virgin clip. Live early, LFG. Shout out to Hunter Cannon. We live early, homie. Been live for a little bit over an hour now. I mean, anyone want to tell me which video to click on? There's like multiple. Miss anything good, Hunter? You missed my whole breakdown of the Michael Morales undefeated record restored. But I mean, that's pretty much the main thing about this stream. The Michael Morales undefeated record restored. But you could just catch it on the replay, homie. There wasn't a bunch of news topics today, but this is one of the main ones. Love you, Nick. Love you, buddy, fellow Chud here. Click whatever stands out to you. Okay. Damn, Black Crime. We got to watch that one. A lot will be repeated clips. I'm gonna bookmark the longer ones. 4 minutes of roasting. And then 8-minute video. Yeah, that should do. Oh, the one under Black Crime. Never mind, it's an edit. Yeah, that one's confusing. Okay. We'll watch 3 videos. Starting with Piers Morgan making fun of Nick for not fornicating.
Basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm the boomer. I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women. I am. All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy. Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid. Basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur.
Says the guy who's never got laid. I mean, no need to shame the man. That is coming off a bit weak from Piers. Coming from a guy who's never got laid. But I get his point. I get his point.
Jews are running society.
You probably shouldn't speak too much on women if you don't got no experience with them. Okay, Nick Fuentes rage baiting Piers Morgan for 4 minutes straight during their interview. Let's see it.
Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Would you like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah. Yes.
You just said blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. You didn't clarify that you were talking about black murderers.
Right. No, you're right.
I mean, I knew that's what he was talking about. I knew that's what he's talking about. He's not talking about just your average black guy walking down the street. He's talking about, you know, he's trying to say that the majority of crime that's committed in the U.S. is black Americans. That's what he's trying to say. I don't know the stats to back it up, but he's not saying like, you know, average UFC fighters need to get locked up that are black. You know, he says he comes out. Here's what Nick Fuentes says. He comes out, he makes the big fucking bold statement, then he explains later. I kind of like it. I'm going to take a page out of his book on that one. I'm going to start dropping more big-ass, bold statements and do my explaining later. I think it's a great strategy from Nick Fuentes here. Drop a big-ass, bold statement right off the bat. Then you do the explaining. I feel like a lot of times I'll be like, so this isn't against the average black person or black people in the UFC. This is against like crime stats or something like that. And then I'll get into it. I'm going to just start being like Nick Fuentes and boom, I'm going to hit you with the big fucking opinion right off the bat. And then I can do some explaining. He's talking about the face tat ones. Yo, what up, Tom D? What up, Tyler Betts? He got it from Tate. A Tate disciple, True Silence. What up, everybody in the chat? 1350. What does that mean, Hunter Cannon? 1350.
That's a good addition to that. That's a great point.
Do you think it's funny or?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hilarious. And people vote with their feet. People would rather pay a much higher property tax.
Most mass shootings.
What's with the interruptions?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you know what percentage of white people?
Piers does call people on interrupting him all the fucking time. He hates being interrupted by people. Good shit from Nick Fuentes. This is just a fucking, I think, a rage baiting compilation from Nick Fuentes here. So it's probably just all hard hitters. All hard hitters. Oh, Hunter Cannon saying 13% of the population, 50% of the crimes. I mean, if that's what the numbers say, who am I to deny it? Who am I to deny it? True Silence says Tate is the OG clip farmer. Nah, Tate's a good OG clip farmer. You're right. You're right.
Are school shooters? I'm
curious. I'm curious whether your advice would be to people who have kids in these schools.
Is my mic working?
Should they avoid?
I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings? Are you playing dumb or are you just not that smart?
What difference does that make to the
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You know what Ye told me? I'll tell you.
Oh boy, I have not seen this interview. I gotta watch it in its entirety. Piers Morgan looks like his blood is boiling. He looks extremely pissed off here. Usually, Piers Morgan's the one doing the trolling and the laughing and the fucking rage baiting. Not right now. Not right now. Usually, Piers Morgan's the one who pisses off his guest. Not the guest pisses him off. Look at his face. He looks pissed off.
Verbatim what he said. So you used the N-word. I said, yeah. He goes, well, when niggas are being niggas. I said, so true. That's so true. Ye, if you've ever met him in real life.
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, then you know. He's nothing but polite, considerate.
Actually, he was very rude to me the last 2 times I interviewed him. He's a supreme narcissist, and he's also.
You keep interrupting me. You're very rude. Are you black? Because you're being very rude by interrupting me right now.
Because I just find it extraordinary that you would think the Holocaust could ever be something that we could joke about.
Why? Too soon?
Are you joking, or do you actually think he was very fucking cool? Because I think he's very fucking a monster.
Okay. and that's a clip. I think he's very fucking a monster. Do you hear yourself?
Yeah,
I mean,
do.
can we all grow up?
I do.
Can we all grow
He
up?
murdered
That
12
is just
million
childish.
people. He murdered 12 million
Okay.
people.
Very
What is
fucking a monster is
cool about
crazy.
that? Tell me.
The edits, it's just cool. The uniforms, the parades, it's
for shits and giggles. What is it? What motivates you to say something like Hitler was very fucking cool?
It's for this. It's for all of this. And the lack of self-awareness is amazing. You're a boomer. You're a 60-year-old boomer. And we've spent maybe 3 minutes on you saying, he's a really fucking monster. He incinerated people. And I'm sitting here saying it's not that serious. It's not that deep. They've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives.
Honestly,
Nick, it's true. And that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bullshit.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me mom and me dad. That's a crock of shit.
No. Who am I losing to?
You're seeing it. Mass migration. Oh, you're losing to me.
Are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women. I am an incel. I'm friends with a lot of Chads like Bradley Martin, Clavicular. They agree with me. We know what women are about. It's the guys in the middle. Guys like you in the middle. It's the beta male orbiters that say, she's amazing. You're a simp yourself. You're totally henpecked. That's the problem. It's always, you're a racist. You're a misogynist.
You said
these
you were a
words
racist.
mean nothing to me. Well, hang on. Whoa, can I respond?
You gave yourself the label.
What is this?
You said, I am a racist. I didn't give you the label.
Okay.
You said, Nick Fuentes, I am a racist.
Calm down. Calm down.
Did you or didn't you?
It's okay. Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're trying to infer
screaming at
something
me?
that didn't.
You're going to have to tone it down a little, all right? You're going to have to bring it down a notch.
Nick Fuentes did his homework on fucking this dude. That's for damn sure. He came ready.
And relax. This is just an interview, okay? Please calm down.
Bros, I've never seen Piers Morgan get that destroyed. Honestly. Never seen someone destroy Piers Morgan like that, ever. Okay, let's see them debate black crime statistics. This should be interesting. You know, I love conversations like this, though. I absolutely love conversations like this. Tyler Betts says, you see the sparring partner Arman brought in to mimic Ilia? I did, homie. I did. I showed it on stream already. I showed it on stream about like 20 minutes ago. I saw it. But Soda Pop brought up a good point, Tyler. Arman and Ilia are the same fucking height. They're both listed as 5'7" on Tapology. So it's like, I mean, you're trolling yourself too. You're no taller than Ilia, so I don't know why you're making a short joke on Ilia. You both are short kings. 5'7" is low key. Like, I did not expect Arman to be 5'7". Arman is, by definition, a short king. Making fun of a fellow short king who's also 5'7". But yeah, I did react to that, Tyler. Someone else commented on that post I made, and they're like, he's not a dwarf. He's a one championship fighter. It's like, nah, he's both. He might fight for one championship, but he's still a fucking dwarf. Don't hate the player, hate the game, all right? Don't get on my ass. I looked it up before I wrote that. I said, is midget derogatory? And then they said, yes, midget is derogatory. Dwarf isn't as derogatory. So I used the word dwarf. Don't get on my ass about that. Tyler says, I saw a comment that said that. Yeah, the comments fucking, we always got the geniuses in the comments. And I'm being serious. I'm not being sarcastic. Like, the comments, low-key, very informed. They always are. You got to scroll past a few bullshit-ass comments, but you're always going to find something informed in that comment section.
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits?
Just so you guys know, these two are about to debate black crime statistics in America.
The vast majority of the mass shootings.
I'm sure it's white people.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass shootings?
I'm sure it's white people.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
I think that white people do more antisocial violence. I think black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference.
What's the difference to the victims?
There's no difference to the victim, but it's a different kind of crime. And it's a different proportion also. Do you know what percentage of white people are school shooters?
I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men. And I'm
And
just
what proportion of
and
what proportion?
I'm curious.
What proportion?
I'm curious whether they avoid white people at school. Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men?
Why won't Piers acknowledge his question? He's asking you a simple question, homie. What the fuck is the proportion? Say you don't know or answer the damn question, and he'll get to answering yours.
At school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more black people proportionally that engage in violent crime or are involved in gangs, especially in these major cities, than there are white people that are school shooters compared to the entire white population. And everybody understands that.
Two-thirds of mass shootings at school perpetrated by white people.
But what proportion of white men commit school shootings? That's the question.
I've just told you. It's 60-65% of school shootings by white people.
You're telling me what proportion of school shootings are committed by white people. I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings. Are you playing dumb or are you just not that smart?
What difference
What's
does
the
that make to the children lying dead on the ground?
This dude, I mean, Piers Morgan, he just wants to like lock in his ideas and his points. He don't want to acknowledge nobody else's points. This ain't a real conversation. But shout out to Nick Fuentes. Shout out to Nick Fuentes on this one. I mean, I respect it. Like I say, I just respect people who keep it a buck, who keep it down the middle, who don't run from things. And I'm seeing Piers Morgan. I'm imagining a little rat thrown inside of a box, right? Trying to escape out of this box, a little rat, just going from corner to corner. Can't find his way out, scurrying. Meanwhile, you drop this rat, Nick Fuentes, in a box, he's just going to sit there and be comfortable. That's what I see.
See, now you want to jump on the victims. The difference is you're asking, would you fear white people or black people? And that's the difference. The difference is in terms
what I'm saying
of
to you is by your logic, if we now have agreed that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools are committed by white people and predominantly young white men, then presumably your advice would be to avoid young white men because they perpetrate these massacres. But it won't be because they're white, right?
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because you're, well, I don't think you are dumb. I think you're
He's acting dumb. He's acting dumb.
Smart, actually, but you're deliberately avoiding per capita. And everybody knows that's the difference. What proportion of white men are school shooters? It's probably 0.00001%. What proportion of black men have committed violent crimes? It's probably like 5%. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's very high. And I would add to that, even as it concerns schools, why do you think parents pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people? Because they know that if they go to the black school, it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips. It's going to be gangs. It's going to be, you talk about school shootings. Nobody talks about all the school shootings that are committed by gangbangers in and around the school and all the other violence that's associated with that. I mean, these schools in the south side of Chicago, it's just not livable.
I have an answer for you, Nick. So the proportion of the population who carry out...
Why the fuck, though? Why the fuck is Piers Morgan really trying to equate white school shooters to black crime statistics? Like, that's his fucking big... That's his big, like, breaking point right there. Like, oh, don't get on black crime statistics because we got white school shooters. I mean, I don't get what the fuck he's trying to conflate here. But what I'll just say, too, is I feel like a lot of black people would actually agree with Nick Fuentes and not Piers Morgan, who's trying to appear like he's sticking up for the black community in the U.S. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen multiple videos of like black people who move out of the hood, like jokingly saying that once they made it out of the hood, they're in their neighborhood in the suburbs, right? I'm gonna give you something I saw on the internet one time. This dude, he's saying like he made it out the hood. He's now living in the suburbs. He was, chilling in his house or doing something in his garage, working. He saw like a couple black dudes pull up on his street in the suburbs in like a Charger, windows tinted, whatever you want to say. I don't know what else he said, but he said like in a Charger, windows tinted. And he straight like essentially called the cops on them and told them to get out of there. because he doesn't want them in his area because he knows them firsthand. So, I mean, he's essentially saying that a couple YNs pulled up in a Charger in his suburban neighborhood and he wasn't having it. But I mean, that was coming from a black dude. I watched a black dude say that. So that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like there's a good majority of black people out there who would actually agree with Nick Fuentes and not Piers Morgan, who's trying to stick up for them, which is kind of crazy. But that goes to True Silence's point when he says that's what happens when you try to stay politically correct in the face of reality. I mean, there's reality, and that's all that I'm interested in. Politically correct, I don't give a fuck about. Reality is the only truth I'm interested in. So I'm with you, True Silence. I'm completely with you. And then Soda Pop says, also, it's not just white men. It's the young, white, emo, nerdy, depressed men. We know what people to avoid. It's not about race. I mean, Soda Pop, you pretty much fucking nailed that one. You pretty much nailed that one. I could elaborate further, but I want to be nice. But you pretty much nailed that one. Wolf Daddy says, hi, just subbed. What up, Wolf Daddy? What's poppin', Wolf Daddy? Thank you for the sub, homie. Much appreciated.
Mass shootings is actually...
We in the weeds on this stream because it's a slow news day, but best believe we always got some good hard-hitting MMA topics to react to. But this was requested by the chat. Shout out Soda Pop.
The same for black and white.
For white people, the proportion of... No,
the proportion
again,
of the
are
population.
you hearing it? No.
See,
What's
I
the
think the trouble with your
proportion?
statistics is a lot of them don't bear much scrutiny. We have a bunch of fact checkers checking all this in real time because you do have a tendency to just come out with a lot of old baloney. And when you say, you know,
okay,
well, it's true. And when you're confronted with reality, you don't like it.
What's the figure? What proportion of white people have committed school shootings? With white people as the denominator and white people that have committed school shootings as the numerator, what's that percentage?
For both black and whites, the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings generally is about the same.
We're not talking about mass shootings. We're just talking about crime in general or shootings in general. Going mass shootings.
No. Tell me the number, and then
the only focus of your attention is the black shootings, the black crime. You don't want to live around black people. You want to avoid black people. You don't want interracial marriages or relationships that may produce black people. And yet, when I point out to you that there are many parts of crime in America where actually there's a majority of white people that perpetrate them, you don't care. You don't have any interest in that. It doesn't exercise your mind. Maybe because
no one's buying this. This
kids.
Argument lost. No one is buying this. Everybody understands per capita, and people can even see what you race ahead and say, well, we're comparing the proportion of white and black school shooters. I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue, is that you're very likely, if you encounter black people or a young black man in the city, that you're going to be the victim of a violent crime, of a robbery, a mugging, a car theft, a carjacking, or a murder. That's the difference, and it's about proportionality. And everybody sees past that because we all live in reality. You want to talk about product of your environment. People that live in New York, Chicago, LA, we live in reality. We live in this environment, and we see what it's like. And the threat, the danger, in terms of probability, it's not even comparable. And I would say this to your point. If you're in a high school and truly, if you see a white person who looks like a little autistic, he's got the SSRI stare and he reaches for a backpack, people joke and say, run. Similarly, if you see a jalopy pulling up with a bunch of black people in it and they got their pants around the ankles, you're going to run also. And I'm saying the same thing. The difference is, the latter happens much more often. It's much more common. You know, in Chicago, there's like 10,000 carjackings and car thefts every day. It's in the thousands. It happens all the time. How many mass shootings committed by autistic SSRI white people? I don't even know. I mean, it's probably in the single digits in the last decade in this city. That's the difference, and everybody knows that. But you're really just trying to carry water for liberal ideology. It's an ideological position.
Yeah, Piers definitely got bodied on that one. He definitely got bodied on that one. And he even tried to call out Fuentes for like running away from reality when really Piers is the one currently running away from reality. All right. Let's see what this one's about. This is an 8-minute clip. This is probably the last Piers Morgan clip we'll react to.
Jews are running society. Women need to shut.
Every now and again. See, my point to you, Nick Fuentes, is that in parts of this interview, you try to come across as moderate, but every now and again the mask slips, and it slipped again here with what you say about Hitler. There's nothing very fucking cool about Hitler. We know that from history now. We know what he did. You've already conceded that he murdered at least 6 million Jews. So when you say he's very fucking cool, Jewish people watch this and go, this guy's disgusting. Why would he say this about someone who perpetrated such an evil? And what's the real answer? Why do you? Is it just for clicks? Is it for money? Is it just for fun? For shits and giggles? What is it? What motivates you to say something like Hitler was very fucking cool?
It's for this. It's for all of this. And the lack of self-awareness is amazing. You're a boomer. You're a 60-year-old boomer. And we've spent maybe 3 minutes on you saying, he's a really fucking monster. He incinerated people. And I'm sitting here saying it's not that serious. It's not that deep. And
not that
what
serious.
I'm getting at.
Not that serious.
Do you want to say more about he's a monster?
You're not a kid yourself anymore. You're not a teenager.
I know.
Right? You're nearly 30, to be clear.
Yeah,
okay? You're a fully formed adult who has a brain, right? And at some stage, that brain is taking you off these rabbit warrens.
Is this an interview or is this a lecture? Can I respond to what you're saying?
I want you to explain why you think it's fine to say how fucking cool Hitler is and to dismiss the very powerful 90 seconds from a British journalist who lost a lot of family members to the Nazis in such a callous, dismissive manner.
I don't think it's powerful. I think we've been hearing that our entire lives, okay? The Schindler's List. Let's just be honest. The propaganda is over the top. We have been in America.
What about the Schindler's List?
Tell me
about the Schindler's List. Well, tell me about the Schindler's List.
I'll tell you about it. We have been browbeaten as a people, as Americans, as Westerners, for our entire lives. And do you know what this has done? It has taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own civilization. We have been made the villain in our own story. We have been made because, well, let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we have thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian, because they've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives,
wait, no,
Nick, it's true, and that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bullshit.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me mom and me dad. That's a crock of shit.
No, listen. What you just said is a crock of shit. And you know
true.
It.
It's called the open society.
In your gut, you know it is. You weaponize this stuff.
You know.
You weaponize this stuff for money, but you know when you say something like what you just said.
I'm banned from banking. I'm banned from banking and credit cards. You know who you're talking to?
Yeah,
I do it for money.
And by the way,
how much money you make? Your company's worth $100 million. Your company's worth $100 million. I was banned from Bank of America.
And you shouldn't
I'm banned from processing credit cards.
And you shouldn't have been.
But I am. So don't tell me I'm doing it for money.
Well, ask me my opinion about that. I'll tell you shouldn't have been. Right? I don't agree with that. What happened to you?
Then don't say I'm doing it for money, because you know that full well, and you say it's a grift.
How much money
if I wanted to be a grifter, I'd be like you, and I would go and say,
how much money are you making?
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that. You guys overplayed your hand.
I'm not done hearing about that.
Okay, well, you know, your generation's on the way out, and Generation Z is coming up, and we're finished with that. We're ready to take our country back.
I've got 3 sons.
We're not listening to crying minorities anymore.
I've got 3 sons, and they don't share your views about slavery and about the Holocaust. They can have decency and compassion and humanity about some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more. They can do that, and they can also have concerned views about issues like immigration and other issues. The two things are not mutually incompatible. You can have different views about different things. It's your lack of humanity and compassion for people about things like the Holocaust, about slavery. It's that people find so contemptible. And I don't understand why you need to do that. Again, I just ask you, is your motivation financial? Is your motivation for fun? what is the motivation to saying these outlandish things, which you don't need to say, and which I suspect, I don't know, I suspect a lot of it is performative. So what is the motivation?
I'm an iconoclast. The Holocaust is not my religion, and it is treated like a religion. It is treated like a religion with dogma, with blasphemy laws, and that secular religion says, and you say that's a crock of shit. It's intentional. It's called The Open Society by Karl Popper. It's by these architects of the liberal order after World War II. They got together and they said, how can we make sure that Hitler never happens? How can we make sure that totalitarianism never happens again? And they came up with the consensus, which is that we need to take down nations, religions, fathers, the authoritarian personality. We need to be empathetic and altruistic. We need to be diverse and pluralistic. And that experiment isn't working. And I'll tell you the truth. Right now, and you can laugh at this, you can scoff at this, our people are being genocided in our country. 50% of the live births in the United Kingdom and in the United States are non-white. In 100 years, my ancestors, your kids who are so empathetic and compassionate, they're going to be a minority. They're going to be a minority in maybe a Muslim country, an Indian country, an Hispanic country. And these Jewish people that are 100 years old talking about my grandparents and the Holocaust, they don't care about that. Actually, they like to see it. At the SPLC, they're literally counting down the days until whites are a minority in America. So forgive me if I don't believe them when they talk about compassion. There's a genocide going on right now. It's not against the Jews.
How many Christians are there?
In Gaza, it's against whites.
How many Christians are there in the world? Like me,
1 point some billion,
yeah,
2 billion.
How many Jews are there?
15 million.
Okay. So with a straight face, you're going to tell me the world is being overrun by the Jewry, by 15 million people, when there are over 1 billion Christians. There is a genocide of Christians like poor old Nick Fuentes going on at the hands of these 15 million Jews. Really?
See, this attitude is why you're losing. When you say
who am I losing to?
White people,
who am I losing to?
White people.
Who am I losing to?
You're seeing it. Mass migration. Oh, you're losing to me. We are losing as a civilization of mass migration. And here's the difference. In Israel, they have my politics. In Israel, they want to maintain a Jewish majority. If they had it their way, it would only be Jewish people. They're fighting like hell so that Jewish people can have as much territory, a Jewish state. They can be proudly Jewish in their own land. Whereas in America, we are being besieged by 10 million illegal immigrants in 4 years. And then whites and Christians are going to be the minority. And that's true in Canada, Australia, all the countries in Europe. So you could say there's 2 billion people, but what's the proportionality? What is the percentage of people being born that are white? Where's the arrow pointing? Where are we going to be in 50 years? In 50 years, there might be in Israel. In 50 years, there isn't going to be a white Christendom.
You don't believe people should get married, right?
I think people should get married. I'm a Christian.
But you're basically anti-marriage, really. You've talked about this. You've talked about.
Are we done talking about white genocide?
Well, no, I'm coming to the same part because.
Shout out to Nick Fuentes, bringing some original ideas to the table. Shout out to Nick Fuentes. I fuck with it.
My point to you, Nick Fuentes.
Nick is our generation. Love you, Nick. Yeah, Nick is definitely our generation. Shout out to Nick. Damn, this whole ICE killing an American citizen is going off right now. But I'm just scrolling through to see if there's any more news, and there's not. There's not. All right, so that's going to be the stream, boys. Shout out to you guys who watched earlier stream today. I think we'll be going live at later times, though. I think you guys do prefer the later streams, if I'm not mistaken. I definitely think, based off the metrics, I think you guys might like the later streams more. It's either that or nobody gives a fuck. Peace out, Soda Pop. But it's either that or no one gives a fuck about the story about Michael Morales. But it's one or the other. Damn, I got to get this off. That's gonna fucking YouTube not gonna like me showing that. But no, yeah, it's one or the other. Either there's not as much of the audience that we're used to at this early time, or nobody gives a fuck about the Michael Morales situation. Not sure. But yeah, I'll probably go live a little bit later tomorrow. Maybe around I think 7 p.m. a sweet spot. 6 or 7 p.m. a sweet spot. But all right, everybody, shout out to you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we get some more good news tomorrow so I can go live. But shout out to everybody who tuned in, and peace out, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Like the video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Peace out. Oh, so James says, us on the East Coast appreciate the early stream. Okay, James. All right, James. Maybe I'll start at 6 p.m. tomorrow instead of 7 then. We'll figure it out. I'm going to find the sweet spot. Today was a little bit of a trial, just seeing what it's like going live earlier. I think we'll go in the middle ground. Not too late, not too early, but a middle ground. I think you guys are used to evening streams, so that's what we'll go with. But shout out to everybody once again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like the stream. If you haven't liked it, subscribe if you're not subscribed.